Thank you so much, Master of Ceremony. I think I have to switch career because that music was quite scintillating, so I'll come for some musical lessons. But before I comment this speech, I would like to commend the chief organizer of this event, Anne. I would like to say congratulations to you. We appreciate all the hard work that you've done to have this event up and running. Dear Rector, ably represented by the Deputy Rector. I'm not sure how many Deputy Rectors we have on campus, but already I have two now, so welcome. Dear guest speaker, dear fellows, dear professors, members of staff, and dearest guests of honor, dearest fellows, on this auspicious occasion of our graduation ceremony, it is with great humility I stand before you all to deliver the speech about my life-changing journey to the VUB, to specialize myself in the multilingual master's program during the 2016-2017 academic year. So I come from the Gambia, a tiny Atlantic sunny country found in mainland Africa. In my country, I'm a youth activist, I'm a radio presenter, and an international relations officer of the University of the Gambia. While in Belgium, I became a student in linguistics and literary studies, and now a PhD researcher in political science. To nurture my activism, I joined the International Student Platform, ISP, and also founded the VUB Student Africa Community, ASCOM. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I am sure you must be thinking, why did this Gambian come to Belgium? Well, I was raised by a single mother whose marriage faltered because she wanted me and her children to go to school in a male-dominant society. For this reason, my mother wanted us, her children, especially me, the firstborn son, to take education very seriously. And I received many lashes, to concentrate. Her life story motivates me to keep going. As famously said by the late Nelson Mandela, education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. So I came here thanks to the European Union through the Erasmus Mundus Caribou project, which aims to help developing countries, Africa, and the Pacific region with development opportunities through education. I was offered 3 master's programs or scholarship, but I could only choose one destination: Uppsala University in Sweden, Sergei in Czech Republic, and VUB in Belgium. But I opted for VUB. For me, VUB stood and still stands up because of its fundamental values of internationalization and critical thinking. I simply had to come to a university that adopts as its key motto a quote by a namesake of mine, the philosopher Hendry. I'm not sure whether you know my name also is Hendry, so good to know that. That thinking never summits itself. I also saw that the late Nelson Mandela of South Africa, and indeed my fellow Gambian, who is the chief prosecutor at the International Criminal Court, were all awarded with an honorary doctorate from the VUB. Amongst other renowned global players, indeed, just like Dr. Emma Bonino of the people of the island of Lampedusa, were honored a few days ago for the selfless service they rendered to so many refugees in the context of the migration crisis. Well, some of these refugees were welcomed by the VUB and joined our student community after much hardship. For the first time in its history, the Faculty of Arts and Philosophy is honored to award these students their master's degree. So a special congratulations to all the refugee students here who are graduating. Much love. Thank you. So today I stand before you, knowing fully well that the journey was not easy. But the question is, was it really worth it? For me, it has been a very enriching and transformative experience. Even though the learning curve at times were steep. This include to hold a sensible discussion, how to write papers and take oral exams, and how to develop and complete my master's thesis. These were moments that when I even doubted my abilities, but these were also moments that the academic environment pushes one to do more than you think one is capable of. My first classes were dramatic because I needed to get used to intensive reading, presenting, writing papers, and basically the entire academic workload. Not forgetting the cold weather of Brussels. In fact, I wrote a poem about that, Cold Boy in Brussels. I was also struck by the well-furnished classrooms, the facilities, and indeed the professionalism of both staff and lecturers. Totally different from where I come from. I remember my first oral exam with Professor John Collins. I think he's here. And having to be confronted with students taking the same exams, drama and poetry, and pushing me to keep on reading until it was time for me to go in. I was amazed with that reaction. What I asked myself is that, do they think that I did not read much or because they saw panic in my face? Well, I was not sure, but they're actually right, because one must always get prepared until the last minute. That helped me a lot, and here I am graduating. One such professor who touched my life is indeed Professor Elizabeth Bakers. Both my lecturer, my supervisor, in fact, an added title, my mentor. She's here, so I'm so proud of you, Prof. She transformed me, insisting that I should stop waffling in class and be more focused. And she's still helping in countless ways. I'm already missing one of my best classes with Professor Christopher Collard of Meta Theater. Not forgetting a brilliant soul, Assistant Caroline Van Nerom, who struggled with me all the way to the end of my thesis. To all our professors who taught us, I say to you, we owe much gratitude to you. Indeed, you are the best among us, and indeed the light of the world. Today, you are sending us into the world, knowing fully well that your job is done. So thank you so much to our professors. I think we could do better. So while studying, I had the opportunity to learn outside of the classroom. So the one person who keeps supporting me in all my activities is Professor Ann Peters, head of the multilingual master's program, to whom I have no words to express how she contributed in helping me settle down throughout my program. Honestly, away from home, you needed like a parent-like figure, and she fulfilled that role for me and for many of my fellow international students and even local students. Prof. Ann Peters, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you. In Gambia, we say jarama, jerejef, kontana. Yeah. Maybe Mr. Ambassador can translate that later. Because of my commitment to activism, I attended numerous conferences, including the 2016 Climate Change Summit in Marrakesh. I took part in 2 organized protests to demand the unconditional release of our VUB Iranian professor detained in Iran and now waiting death penalty. Well, let me make it clear. Our thoughts and prayers are still with him, Professor Ahmadreza Jalali. Well, I know the dangers of living in repressive regimes, including in my very own country for the past 22 years. Most astonishingly, was having a sparkling lunch with the King Philip of Belgium and the overwhelming honor to speak at this year's academic opening. Much gratitude to our dearest rector, Professor Caroline Powells, and our entire dedicated staff, professors, and students for promoting internationalization. Honestly, I believe she's one of my greatest living icons, which is a confession worth making. Professor Powells, she's a great icon. Fellow graduates, the big question now to ask is, what next? Well, it is no easy question, and I don't think it is at this point even possible to supply an answer. But for me, we can all be hopeful and optimistic in our dreams. For me, a master's degree like this one, for which I worked so hard, means more opportunities, influence, and a chance to uplift myself and to remove my family from the poverty cycle in my country. Well, curiously enough, I'm still studying my master's here, I'm still studying here, doing my PhD in political science. This interest came about because of the December 2016 presidential election, when my people succeeded in changing our government through the ballot box instead of the barrel of a gun. And this is for the first time in its history of 52 years of existence. The historic thing is that today is exactly the same day we changed our government through the ballot box, so really historic and symbolic. We gained independence from 1965. In less than a fortnight, I'll be back for my Christmas break home, and indeed, for the second time, I'll be visiting with a deep patriotic feeling after a change of government. I am returning to host a town hall meeting, including with major stakeholders and young people in particular. It will be a follow-up to the conference about New Gambia I organized here on campus on the 23rd October with the former spokesperson of the coalition government in power, Honorable Halifa Sallah. Well, new beginnings in Gambia, but also new beginnings for us graduates here today. I would like to commend all my fellow students for graduating. Keep your heads high, because you have earned your degrees through a rigorous academic trial. Take note. Now the world awaits us, which we enter, arrive with our new titles, knowledge and skills, and specifically the experience of what it means to be a VUB student. In the face of oppression, as we have seen, let us avoid repression. The world needs us to contribute to peace building and to making the world a better place for all. To conclude my speech, I believe it is time to create time for our loved ones too, our parents who are also here present, and our guardians. I wish you all the best of luck. I wish you great careers and great lives ahead. And I hope you too will always think fondly of your time here at the VUB. And let me seize this opportunity to wish you all a Merry Christmas and a blessed New Year. Thank you.